Good morning to all. First, so let me apologize for what happened yesterday. Puta, yesterday was the only with today, it was a holiday for us. So I went to fuel the vehicle around 8:30, right? So there were no fuel in the morning in Parnadur area, and there were no queues also. I was a little bit suspect whether sometimes what if fuel doesn't arrive for Panadura. So I drove to Morotua. So there I found a queue. And I joined the queue around 8:15 a.m. Right. So, when I was fueling the vehicle, it was exactly 4 in the evening. I had no breakfast. I had no lunch, a proper lunch. Right. So I was so tired. Right. And yesterday was the feast of St. Anthony's, Kadalana. That was my parish. That was my parish, right? Former parish. So I wanted to go there, but I was planning to go there right in the afternoon after filling the vehicle. But because of those two reasons, I couldn't conduct the class yesterday. Right? Extremely sorry for that. I think I have sent you a message. So Puta, now this is what has happened to us, and if your parents have vehicles, ask them to fuel the vehicle as soon as possible, because most probably, right, most probably after next week, right, after next week, I heard that in the queue. I don't know whether it is true or not, right? The next shipment of fuel is available only on the 19th, right? Because there is a gap of 5 days from today, right? So ask your parents to fuel the vehicle right as soon as possible, because we don't know what would happen in the next next week and the week after, after that. So ask your parents to fuel the vehicle as soon as possible, right? And let's get into the lesson today. Children, we are completing the sixth competency. And listen to me. I want you to understand and refer this lesson again and again. There is a reason for that. If someone asks me, right, what is the most important lesson, right, where a student follows in under accounting, right, without a doubt, I would name this particular lesson double entry system, right? More than in O levels, in A levels, this particular lesson matters. Trust me, right? This particular lesson matters. So I think that is applicable for O levels also, because, right, most of the time, next chapters, right, in answering the next chapter, we are following the principles of double entry, right? We are following the principles of double entry, right? So Puta, after this session, I'm going to upload this to the YouTube. You have to listen to that particular recording as many times you like, and the next week we are starting the 7th competency. So don't be afraid of the covering of the syllabus. We have more than enough time for that, right? And I'm starting the grade 11 syllabus on December. Me wagema tamai puta, right? 11 syllabus එක December පටන් ගන්නවා. මොකද ඒ වුණත් අපිට වෙලාව ගොඩක් ඉතුරු කර ගන්න පුළුවන්. Right. Pute, in today's session, right, I have given you, right, in all these things, I have given, right, in the 5th question, I have given you 2 ledger accounts, right? You have to recognize the transaction. ඕමත් ප්‍රශ්න O levels වලදී. Sometimes they give you a transaction, you have to develop the double entry. And sometimes they give you the double entry, you have to describe the transaction. Are you all ready? Right. So, Puta, right. Can somebody tell me what is the description of the first transaction? Transaction 1 ke description එක. What has happened? On 1st of January, cash account is debited by 450,000 and capital account credited by 450,000. What is it? Yeah. Janidu, that is correct. Very good. But let's write it correctly. අපි මෙහෙම ලස්සනට ලියන්න ඕන. හරිද? Give me a minute. Right? Date is 1st of January. Write the date first. Right? Then you have to write the owner Sanuka, එහෙම කියන්නේ නැහැ පැටියෝ. You can't say capital increased by 450. That is not correct. බලාගෙන මම ලියන විදිය. ඔයාගේ try එක ඔයාගේ උත්තරේ හරි. හැබැයි පොඩ්. එහෙම ලියන්නේ නැහැ අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. You have to say why the capital is increased. Look at this. The owner invested rupees 450,000 as capital. This is how you describe the first transaction. As they have mentioned the date, right? Well, given the date, you have to mention the date also. 1st of January, the owner invested 450,000 rupees as capital. Then අද මං කියව පුතා මේ පඩ හරියම වැදගත්. If you like, you can go through all the 3 recordings, right? So I think you all are maintaining the tutorials correctly, right? අපි මේ විදිහට කරගෙන යමු වැඩි. හරිද? Right. Can we start? පටන් ගමු ඊළඟ එක එහෙනම්. හරි. I'm taking you to the next one. Right. Who can describe the second transaction? Second transaction. Date is Pute 5th of January. What has happened on the 5th of January? Office equipment debit 250,000. Cash credit 250,000. Right? Other decisions in other. I know, Hari. Onita, Niviru, right? Dishans, Vibu, can you all tell me what has happened in the second transaction? Duniti, Duniti. She's not in the class. Ne? Okay. Sanuka, Vibu. Right. Very good. Very good. Hari. So, exactly, Sanuka. Very good. Very good. Perfect. So, let's write the transaction. That is correct. You have to say purchased office equipment. Dishans Verdi. Don't use the word owner, right? For any transaction. There is no connection of the owner for this transaction. It was performed by the business. Your one is incorrect. Do not ever use the owner except for the additional capital introduced. Harida, because this has not been purchased by the owner. This has been purchased by the business. You don't want to specifically say that either. What do you say? Purchased office equipment. Office equipment valued rupees 200 and wait a minute. You have to say purchased office equipment valued rupees 250,000 on cash. Make it mention karande. Huh? On cash. Visions. Others also mention that as well, because the office equipment can be purchased on credit as right. So to mention on which base there's been this has been purchased. Put up another one. Now Dishans made a mistake. Harida, right? Then අනිත් අයට වැරද්ද කරන්නත් බෑ. ඩිෂන්ස් අය වැරද්ද කරන්නත් බෑ. හොඳට බලන් ඉන්න මම ඔයාලට මේ කියලා දෙන්න යන දේ. හරිද? පුතේ. Now look at this. Right? Do you know, right? When we keep or in accounting, right? In accounting, right? We follow, right? An assumption. Right? And let me put it like this way. This is the main assumption. Right? Main assumption followed by a business. Right? That is introduced as, right? Business entity concept. Business entity. Business entity concept. The meaning of this business is, listen to me very carefully. This says, right, the business is separated, right, from its owner. From its owner. Therefore, Puta, whenever the transaction which is taking place in a business, we don't observe it from api owner ki පැත්තෙන් නෙමෙයි බලන්නේ. We do not observe the transaction from the owner's viewpoint. We always use the business's viewpoint. Okay? Because of this concept. Business entity අපි ඔකට කියන තව එකක් accounting unit concept. Always remember, whenever you describe a transaction, you can't use the owner's viewpoint. Are we clear? So never make that mistake. It's one of the huge mistake where a student can make. Right, perfect. Let's continue to the next one. Right. I'm taking you to the next transaction. Right. Transaction 3. Can someone describe the transaction? It's very simple. What has happened in the third transaction? Lamai. How do you describe the third? It's very simple. Purchases increased by debit by 50,000. And cash credit by 50,000. It's very simple and it's very short description we have. That is, right, look at this. On 5th of January, right, cash purchases, cash purchases rupees 50,000. Right? You can't say it like that. Sorry, it is 9th. Sorry, Puta. Sorry, Sanuka. It is 9th. Yes, 9th. Additions, again, you have made a mistake. Huh? Read your transaction again. Purchased cash of 50,000, it can't say. Huh? Purchased cash can be. Cash purchases 50,000. Make the corrections. Vibhu, I think you are writing the answers. Huh? Cash purchases 50,000. Oshani, right. Good. Let's move to the next one. Here, if you want, I can stay on this particular lesson for one more week. Do you want to move to another session on double entry system? Is that good? If you like, I can prepare another tutorial on it. Dishan, Sanuka, what do you think? Do you want few more activities on double entry system? No need. Kamak nahi na. Hari. Right. Let's move to the fourth one. Like it. Right. Let's do a new lesson. Sanuka. Sanuka is in a hurry to complete the syllabus. Hari, kamak nahi. If I feel, I will prepare another tutorial on double entry because this is a very important one. Harida, make a godak padagat padamak. Hari pute. Can you all tell me? We describe the fourth. Oh, has it been repeated? Ane pute say, menne metana podak hadaganna. Puta, menne metana hadaganna. Right? This is not cash. Yeah, this has to be make hadaganna. Creditors. And here also it should be creditors. Extremely sorry. Purchasers, description is creditors. The next name of the account is creditors. I think even at this moment you can decide what is this transaction. Pute, make a date kathadagamu, date kathadaganna. It should be 10th January. Ekat 9th වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් හොඳේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ. Right. So, when you describe the transaction, you have to start the proceedings with, right, the date 10th of January, credit purchases. Sanuka, credit sale purchases කියන්නේ නෑ පුතා. දැක්කනේ චූටි වැරදි හදාගන්න. You can't say credit sale purchases. Right? This is credit purchases. වැරද්ද දැම්මම හදාගන්න හොඳේ. Credit purchases. Credit purchases rupees 50,000. That is how you describe, right, the fourth transaction. Credit purchases. Janani, that is correct. Very good. The Kaneda Puta, right? It's very important. Please go through all these activities again. Hari. Now the next one. Right? Can all describe what is this transaction? Cash debit 60 on 11th. On the same day, sales account credit 60,000. Exactly, Jani. Don't know very simple, Puta. Very simple. First, right, use the date. The date is Pute 11th of January. Description is, yes, Sanuka, that is 100% perfect. Cash sales. Cash sales. Niviru, try ekak denna patiyo. Cash sales rupees 60,000. Cash sales rupees 60,000. This is the description for the fifth transaction. Okay, good. ඊළඟ එකෙත් පොඩි වැරද්දක් තියෙනවා වගේ මට පේනවා. මොකද purchases කියලා ආයෙ ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. ඒක ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා නේද? මේකත් ලියන්න බලන්න. Right? On 6th, what has happened? On 6th, sorry, 15th January, again, it is a credit purchases. Credit purchases, yes, Sanuka, very good. Then hari onna, credit purchases, rupees 20,000. Credit purchases, rupees 20,000. Exactly additions. Very good. That is correct. Sorry. Right. Transaction number 7. Transaction number 7. Debtors debit 80, sales credit 80. Check your answers. It's very simple, Puta. The date is 17th of January. Transaction credit sales. Credit sales. Rupees 80,000. Credit sales rupees 80,000. Okay. Credit sales rupees 80,000. Right? Let's move to the next one. Transaction number 8. Electricity account debit 8,000. Cash account credit 8,000. Can all guess the transaction here? මොකද්ද මෙතන තියෙන්නේ? පුතේ ලස්සනට ලියන්න ඕන. ලස්සනට ලියන්න ඕන. 19th of January, paid or settled rupees 8,000 as electricity. Paid rupees or settled rupees 8,000 as electricity. You can use the word paid rupees 8,000 as electricity. Don't forget the date. When the date is given, you have to use the date also for the description. Remember that. Okay, Buddha? Good. Let's move to the next one. Who can tell me the transaction? Right? Number 9. Who can describe the 9th transaction? Sorry. Creditors account debit. Cash credit. Ashen. Try එකක් දෙන්න බලන්න පුතා. නිවිරු. No. Sanuka වැරදි. Who is this Mihansa Fernando? කවුද පැටියෝ මේ Mihansa Fernando කියන්නේ? මං හිතන්නේ නංගිගේ නමකින් ඇවිල්ලා තින්නේ නේ. නංගියෙන්. Who is this? Onita. Dinet. It doesn't matter. Dinet කියන බල. What is this transaction? Creditors account debit, cash credit. It is not cash sales. Sanuka, how it can be a cash sale, son? If it is a cash sale, you have to debit the cash account. Cash increases ni. හොඳට අහගන්න. මම ඊළඟ සතියේ මේ පාඩමට යනවා. No, it is not a credit purchase either. It is not a credit purchase either. Sanuka, වැරදි. අහගන්න. Right? පුතේ, when we purchase the goods on credit, what happens? Purchasers debit, creditors credit. Right? When you purchase, let me show you the right whiteboard again. Then මෙහෙම හිතන්නකෝ. හරිද? I'm just using a T account format. Let's say this is your right. නිකන් හිතන්න හොඳද? Right. පුතා හොඳට අහගන්න. When you purchase goods, right? Let's say cash credit purchases. What happens? This is your purchases account. And this is your creditors. Okay, look at this, right? When you purchase the goods on credit value, let's say 60,000. What is the double entry? Purchasers debit 60,000 and creditors credit 60,000. I told you, every transaction should have a debit and a credit corresponding credit entry. Right. So what is this transaction? May transaction මොකද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? Creditors debit 28,000. Creditors debit 28,000. Right. Creditors debit වෙලා තියෙනවා 28,000 and cash account credit 28,000. 28,000. Now, what is right? What has happened here? It can't be a credit purchase. Now, look at this one. Make හොඳට ඉගෙන ගන්න පැටියෝ. Creditors is a liability. Like a loan, it's a liability. So this liability has to be settled. Now, with this transaction, we have settled 28,000 to creditors. Anna Hariyashen. Terunada. Are we clear? Right? So what this transaction is, settled rupees 28,000 to creditors. Apiliyam. Bomadayashen. Very good. The transaction is the date 22nd January, settled or paid rupees 28,000 to creditors. Are we clear? This I will describe the transaction on 22nd. පුතේ මම ආයි පාරක් කියනවා. හරියට ඉගෙන ගන්න. හරිද? හැම දරුවෙක්ට මම බොහොම ආදරෙන් කියනවා මේ දේවල් හරියට follow කරන්න. නැත්තම් තේරුමක් නැහැ පුතා. Right? Good. Now let's move to the next one. අපි ළඟකට යමු. Question number 10. අපි යමු question number 10 එකට. Oh. පුතේ මෙන්න මෙතනත් පොඩි වැරද්දක් තියෙනවා. This should be debtors account. හදාගන්න පොඩ්ඩක්. Number 10, the name of the account should be debtors. Sorry. Debtors account. Who can tell me the transaction description for the 10th? හරියට හරි යන්නේ ඔය තියෙන්නේ. ඔය තියෙන්නේ නියමයි. Very good. If the previous one was paid 28,000 to creditors, right? Now what has happened here? Pute, it is the first mention the date. Date is 27th January. Received rupees 40,000 from debtors. Received rupees 40,000 from debtors. Very good. Very good. Harida, right. Let's move to the next activity now. Today, what we have as the next one. To describe the transaction. දැන් මම ටිකක් අමාරු ඒවා ටිකක් දාලා තියෙනවා. හරිද? අමාරුත් නෑ මේවා. කල්පනා කරත් පුළුවන්. හරි. right බලමු පැටියෝ. පුතේ transaction number 1. Cash account debit 50,000. Furniture account credit 100,000. Capital account credit 150,000. How to describe this transaction? How to describe this transaction? Listen to me. It's very simple. You have to say the owner invested, right? බලන්න මම මේක ලියන්න ලස්සන. Invested furniture and cash valued rupees 100,000 and rupees 50,000 respectively as capital. බලන්න එක වැරද්දක් තියෙනවද බලන්න මේකේ නෑ. The owner invested furniture and cash. He has introduced the capital in two forms, two formats. Cash, furniture. This have you describe this transaction using just a one sentence. The owner invested furniture and cash valued rupees 100,000 and 50,000 respectively as capital. පුතේ මෙදා පාර O levels ගිය ළමයි ටික ගොඩක් හොඳට වැඩේ කරලා තිනවා. හරිද? ඉතින් පුතේ මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා I think I in my classes, right? I will get a very good result. I'll let you know the results once I receive it, right? And I want a better result than them from 2023 O level batch, right? Especially from my school, right? මගේ main concern එක මගේ ඉස්කෝලේනේ. මට ඉස්කෝලෙන් හොඳ result එකක් වටින්න ඕන. හරිද? Right. So පුතේ second one, cash 60,000 debit, bank loan credit 60,000. What is this one? මොකද මේ transaction එක? පුතේ obtained a bank loan valued same problem. Bank loan valued rupees 60,000. This have you described, right? The second transaction. Right, Hari. Transaction number 3. Today, බලන්න මේ account එක fixed deposit 30,000, cash credit 30,000. Now what has happened here? මෙතන මොකද්ද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? ආගන්න. Right? Deposited rupees 30,000 in a fixed deposit. fixed deposit. Fixed deposit. You have deposited rupees 30,000 in a fixed deposit account. Okay. Transaction 4. Drawings debit 10, cash credit 10. What has happened here? The owner, look at this description, right? The owner right, withdrew. It's very simple. Puta, cash drawings, that is very simple. Cash drawings, rupees 10,000. Cash drawings, rupees 10,000. This is how you record the fourth transaction. Harida? Hari. Api lagata. I think you'll have written all these answers. Puta. Transaction number 5. Transaction number 5. What is this? Water bill debit 8, cash credit 8. The transaction is, the description of the transaction is paid rupees 8,000 as the water bill. As the water bill. Okay. Lassana describe karan lokuwata liyanna onne naha puta. Briefly describe the transaction. Okay, good. Next one. A previous one, I can't show that because I have already erased it, but I can tell you what we have done there. Right? Kaling එක තමයි පුතා. Number 5 ne kata, number 5 ne. Paid water bill, sorry, cash drawings 10,000. Cash drawings 10,000. Number 4. Number 5. Number 5. Okay. Right, Puta. Number 6. Then මට හරියට කියන්න බලන්න. Debtors debit 40. Sales credit 40. මෙතන මොකද්ද වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? Huh? Yes. It is අහගන්න. Credit sales rupees 40,000. Credit sales rupees 40,000. Puta, Sanuka, cash sales nemene petiyo. Number 6 එක. If it is a cash sale, you have to debit the cash account no Sanuka. හොඳට බලා ගන්න. If the debtors have been used, I told you, debtors is created as a result of credit sales. අද මේ පාඩම දවස් ඉවරන කලින් you have to read it again. Before the day ends, you have to go through this session again. Huh? All your answers. Right. Next one. Purchasers account debit, creditors account credit. හරියට කියන්න බලන්න. Without making a mistake, have to describe transaction number 7. Anyone in the class? Dinit? Ashen Velgama? That is correct, Sanuka. That is correct. Now do you see, right? Credit purchasers generates a liability called creditors, while credit sales generates an asset called debtors. Remember that. I think I gave this as a special note in the first session, as I can remember. Hari, api karla balam puta. You have to describe the transaction like this, right? Credit purchasers. Ashen, මෙහෙම ලියන්න පුතා. Purchases on 20,000 on credit. මෙහෙම ලස්සනයි. Credit purchasers rupees 20,000. Normally, credit purchasers rupees 20,000. Number 8, cash debit 25, debtors credit 25. The transaction is received rupees 25,000 from debtors. Received rupees 25,000 from debtors. Okay. ඊළඟ එක transaction number 9, paid rupees 35,000 to creditors. Paid rupees 35,000 to creditors. Refer the ledger accounts, then you can easily decide what has happened in it. Number 10, office equipment debit 50, capital account credit 50. Not the cash, not the cash. Office equipment debit 50,000, capital account credit 50,000. What is this transaction? Now, whenever the capital account is involved, this transaction is, right, this has been affected by the owner. You have to say, the owner invested. The owner invested rupees 50,000 as capital. As capital. Write all these answers. Hari. Then ahaganna ඊළඟ එක. Right? පොඩ බලන්න ඉන්න පුතා. We have you done it? Finished? 5 to 10? පුතේ ඔන්න මම දැන් තව පොඩි challenge එකක් දෙනවා. ඒ තමයි you have to describe the transaction numbers 10 to 20. හරිද? 10 to 20 as a homework. හොඳට බලන්න, right? Before you write the transaction, read the given right double entry. Which account is debited? Now the next one. Yeah. Drawings account debit, purchases credit. මම මේකත් කියලා දෙන්නම්. මේ කලුත් transaction එකක් මේක අහගන්න. පුතේ, we use this transaction to record. හරිද? අලුත් එකක් හොඳට අහගන්න this. It is a drawing, but it is not a cash drawings. Look at this account we have credited. Purchases. purchasers. Therefore, the description goes like this, right? Goods drawings. Goods drawings of the owner rupees 30,000. Or you can say the owner purchased goods valued rupees 30,000. Harida puta, is there a question? Yes, Sanuka. DR means debit. CR means credit. But in the double entries, we don't write CR. Okay, good. Have you all written this one, Puta? Number 11. Right. Let me take you to the number 12 is easy. It doesn't matter. Right? Electricity. Number 13. Yes. Number 13. Look at transaction number 13. Bank account 40,000. Capital account 40,000. Right? This is how you describe the transaction. Right? Deposited rupees 40,000 in a bank by the owner as capital. See how complete this description is. Deposited 40,000 in a bank, right, by the owner as capital. If the owner is introduced anything, it is similar to an introduction of capital. Are you all with me? Huh? Right. Next one. Cash account 16,000. Pute. Have you written this one? Deposited rupees 40,000 in a bank account by the owner as capital. මම ඊළඟ සතියේත් මේ පාඩමෙම ඉන්නවා රයිට් තරහ වෙන්න එපා හොඳේ මොකද තව ටිකක් උගන්වන්න තියෙනවා සමහර අයගේ පොඩ්ඩක් මදි කියලා මට හිතෙනවා. I'm going to give you some more creative activities there. Right. අබ්බලම තව මොනවද අවුරුද්දවල තින්නේ කියලා. පුතේ 16 is 15 can be managed. 16 all right, 17 right. පොඩි try එකක් දෙන්නකෝ ඉතුරු ටික කරන්න. හොඳට කල්පනා කරන්න. Whenever the capital account is used, that means the owner has been involved in that transaction. It is not the business. The transaction has been involved by the owner. Right. So this is the end of session 3. අද හොඳ ගණන් ටිකක් කතා කරා පුතා මේ ඔක්කොම ප්‍රැක්ටිස් කරගන්න. පුතා right, this is you can the questions can be prepared in two different ways. Sometimes they give you a transaction, you have to complete the double entry as we did last week, and sometimes they give you the double entry, you have to describe the transaction. Right? Two competency levels. Right? Okay. Now let's move to right. අපි ලබන සතියේ අපි මේ පාඩම continue මම ලබන සතියේ අලුත් පාඩම පටන් ගන්න හිටියේ, but Sanuka I'm using another session to describe dual aspect of a transaction. It's very important because all of you are making right small mistakes. They have to be corrected first. Okay puta? Okay children? Right. Additions 16th transaction මෙහෙම ලියන්න, right? 16 තුල මොකද්ද බලන්න වෙලා තියෙන්නේ? Number 16. Salaries account debit 23, capital account 23. මේක මෙහෙමයි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. The owner has settled rupees 23,000 as salaries. Simple. Normally, salaries are paid by the business, no? Then, if the business paid, this should be salaries account debit, cash account credit. But it's not the cash account, it is capital. So what is this transaction? Paid, sorry, the owner settled rupees 23,000 as salaries. Am I clear with you? Right. So, Puta, you have to describe all these transactions as a homework. And the next week, we are correcting the last 10, right? And we will move to another, right, important session containing creative activities, right? And I want you to go through all these sessions again and again. Right, Puta? Okay, then that's all for today. Until we meet again on next week, stay safe. God bless you. Thank you very much for your participation.